Dr. Ogweno. Becha, are you all right? Nixon asked concernedly. I am fine, dear, Becha responded, determining not to spoil her day with many anxious thoughts. Meanwhile, Richard woke up very early that day. He felt a loneliness he had not experienced in a long time. All of a sudden, he missed Joanne and his children, so he decided to go for a ride and run a few errands to clear his head. He drove into the city center and through to Kenyatta Avenue into State House Crescent. He felt joy as he saw the board written Christ the King Church. This was the church that had first welcomed him to Nairobi. Maybe I can check on Pastor B. He might just be in, he thought as he drove into the church compound. I have missed his ministry. At the gate, he greeted the security personnel, drove in and parked his car next to the office block. He went and checked the door. It was open, but the pastor was not in. Richard decided to go to the back of the building just in case the pastor had visited another office and also to check the notice board. The church building was opposite the offices. Right in front of him, he saw a banner written, Becha weds Nixon. His heart missed a beat. Becha? That sounds like my daughter's name. I must go in to check out this wedding. Just as he was taking a step to get into the church, his phone rang. Yes, Mary. Mary was the nanny looking after his house. How may I help you? Yes, sir. I forgot to tell you that the following items are missing. He listed a whole mouthful of household items. Could you please buy them on your way back? Yes, I will, thanks. And he turned to get into the church. His phone went again. Oh, not again. He lamented as he moved aside to receive the call. Dad, please remember to pass by the garage and have the wheels checked. Yesterday, I noticed a slight problem as I took the car to the car wash, said his son. With all that information, he decided that the wedding could wait. After all, it was impossible for his daughter to be anywhere nearby. He could have felt it in his heart, he reasoned. So on his way to the car, he found Pastor B, had a chat with him, after which the pastor told him he was officiating the wedding, which was just about to begin. So Richard left and took care to attend to the many errands he had been added. At around 11:30 in the morning, as he was heading home, he saw a wedding convoy. His mind went back to the experience in the church compound an hour earlier. This day conspired to torture me, he thought, feeling sad. He decided to overtake the convoy so that he could mind his own business. Just as his car was overtaking the bridal car, he looked to see who it was, and his heart missed a beat. Is it? He shouted. He almost lost control of the car. Had it not been for the oncoming vehicle honking madly, he decided that he would drive to where this convoy was heading. Suddenly, a policeman waved him down. He stopped, and once the policeman checked the vehicle insurance, he let Richard go. To his disappointment, he lost complete track of the convoy. He was utterly distraught. Therefore, he drove home, opened the gate, and parked the car in the garage. When it took too long to come out, the nanny got worried and sent his son to go and check what was happening. The son found him weeping so badly that all he could do was to get into the co-driver's seat and wait for the flood of tears to cease. After a while, the son decided to leave and wait outside the car. He was feeling embarrassed at the sight of his father weeping. Meanwhile, Richard regretted mistreating Joanne, who was an innocent woman who had sacrificed her all for him. After he had made his life right with God, he had gone to Eldoret to check on his mother. Unfortunately, he found that she had passed on 2 years after he left. No one seemed to know where Joanne had disappeared to after her mother-in-law's burial. Joanne, please, wherever you are, forgive me, he wept. When the surge of tears subsided, he looked up and saw his son. Apparently, 6 years earlier, after Richard had left Kisumu City, he got a phone call from a young man. "Excuse me, Dad, this is Jolly speaking," he heard a voice saying. "Oh, Jolie, how have you been?" Richard answered. "We are doing fairly well, except Mom is very sick and is admitted in hospital. She did not want us to tell you, but I've decided to. I found your number in one of her old diaries. Mom has been quite unwell." "What is the problem?" he asked, panicking. "Well, I don't know what the problem is exactly, except she was complaining about her chest. Now she's admitted at the Aga Khan Hospital in the intensive care unit." "Intensive care unit? That must be serious," he found himself saying. "All right, I will be there in the evening. Thanks for the information." Immediately, Richard had put away the phone. He felt a surge of sadness sweep his entire being. He did not like the thoughts that were running through his mind. Though he had parted from Lois, he would have liked for her to be well so that she could take care of her children. He then reasoned that since her son had called him, it was only right for him to go and see her in hospital and offer his support to them. Hence, he had booked for the 6 o'clock flight in the evening. At 7 o'clock, he had reached the hospital and was seated by Lois's bedside. Lois was a pale shadow of her former self. Disease had ravaged her beautiful body. Her 3 children who were fairly grown up had tried to be with her by her side. After checking on Lois, Richard met the children, and after a brief catching up, he took them for supper in town. They did not eat much, but were delighted that someone cared enough to check on them. Richard stayed in Kisumu that whole week. Every day he visited the hospital. By the following week, Lois had shown considerable improvement and was moved to the high dependency unit. One evening, she opened her eyes to find him standing beside her bed. She behaved as if she had seen a ghost. In a shrill, small voice, she asked, "Richard, you came to see me. How did you know I was sick?" Then she shut her eyes. The short sentence took away all her strength. Richard panicked and was about to call the nurse when Lois opened her eyes and tried to raise her hand. He reached out and took it. He tried to reassure her that she would get well and they would talk then. For the next few days, all she could do was just greet him and keep quiet. One evening, Richard came to see her. Right in front of him was an angel. For more, let's catch up later.